Assalamu alaikum, family. You're tuned into the Sajdah channel, and today is part one of our five-part series on business warfare. So be a friend, tell a friend, and we'll be back in 3 short minutes. See you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, family, conscious entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. You are tuned in to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show, and this is our 5-part series on business warfare. And today is part 1. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I know you have so many things to do. I appreciate the show of love and support and how you pay attention to these things. As for those of you who are just tuning in, because I know this is going to attract a lot of people who don't know me, as I sit here and drink some hot calendula flower tea. Calendula is great for inflammation. It's amazing for your skin. So any of you out there, you conscious entrepreneurs that are trying to do a skincare line, consider using calendula flower oil in your mixtures, because it's going to help create an evenness to the skin and get rid of some of the blotchiness that you may have. It also is great for eczema. And take it for somebody that grew up with eczema. Anyway, I digress. I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I'm an international business and real estate professional. I'm an artist, and business is my canvas. And you all know how I hate the way we feel compelled to define ourselves by what we've accomplished. I prefer to define myself by what I'm striving for, and that is a powerful manifester and to be a God. Today, we are discussing business warfare, based loosely on The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Why are we doing this? And a lot of people are like, well, why are we doing this stuff? We're doing it because I want you to be aware. I don't want you throwing up your hands going, forget it. I can't do it. I don't know what I'm going to do. A job is not always an option for a lot of you. I'm not doing it so that you can point fingers or judge anybody. I'm doing it so that you know what's going on and you can strategize and win. Okay. I want to begin by playing for you a video that gives you various quotes from The Art of War. I think it's going to put you in the mindset. I want your mind to begin to think strategically. Business, in fact, is war. And what's interesting is that business is also the activity of life itself. Okay. And by it being the activity of life itself, it means that our participation in this aspect of life is also under war-like conditions. And we got to understand what we're dealing with, but it's not as scary as you might think, as long as you know what's going on. Think about how many times you have seen these techniques deployed in your organizations, places you work, organizations you are a part of, whether it's church or a sorority, even the mosque. Think about all of these places where you've seen people deploy certain operative techniques as they lead, as they function, as they navigate through the organization. You have people who get promotions like this. So I want you, as you're looking at this video, to think about, I've seen that in action before, and let it just flow into your subconscious. And you may have to go back and look at this again. Okay, so relax and let the awareness of these tactics alert your subconscious that already has the tools to overcome anything that comes against you. Remember, conscious entrepreneurs, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Okay, and as Muslims, we have a way of life that was given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that is already designed to combat these tactics. Part of the problem is when we deviate from that lifestyle, or we don't have the ability to reason because we got judgments and prejudices and discrimination in our mind. We can't reason and we can't access the revelation of understanding and supreme wisdom because we're blocked by how we think it should look and how it should come and all these other things. I want us to be reminded, okay, that we should recognize truth no matter where it comes from. All right. So let us be reminded. So check this video out. I'll be back right afterwards. We're going to get right into it. This is going to be quick, but I want to ignite something in you because I want to elevate your strategy game so that when you call me and say, hey, Sister Sajdah, I need help. I need to hire you. I need to go to booksajdahwendymuhammad.com and hire you. You'll understand what I'm talking about when I start to recognize the signs of certain things in your business. And you won't spend so much time in shock. You'll already jump right to acceptance and be ready to strategize. So here's a summary of the art of war, and I want you to take in these quotes.
When you are strong, strong when you are weak. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. Move swift as the wind and closely formed as the wood. Attack like the fire and be still as the mountain. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. There are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard. When the enemy is relaxed, make them toil. When full, starve them. When settled, make them move. Who wishes to fight must first count the cost. If you wait by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will float by. Know yourself, and you will win all battles. To win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby, you can be the director of the opponent's fate. The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy, so that he cannot fathom our real intent. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. You have to believe in yourself. If the mind is willing, the flesh could go on and on without many things. Thus, the expert in battle moves the enemy and is not moved by him. Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack. Great results can be achieved with small forces. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. If quick, I survive. If not quick, I am lost. This is death. Ultimate excellence lies not in winning every battle, but in defeating the enemy without ever fighting. If you ignore both, your enemy and yourself, you are certain to be in peril. Move not unless you see an advantage. Use not your troops unless there is something to be gained. Fight not unless the position is critical. Wheels of justice grind slow, but grind fine. It is easy to love your friend, but sometimes the hardest lesson to learn is to love your enemy. If his forces are united, separate them. You can't trust a man who has nothing to lose. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. Be where your enemy is not. An enemy is a friend who knows too much about you. Disorder came from order. Fear came from courage. Weakness came from strength. If your friend is friends with your enemy, it means that you should not hang out with this friend. Beware of sugar that is mixed with poison. Beware of the fly that sat on a dead snake. Who does not know the evils of war cannot appreciate its benefits. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look on them as your own beloved sons. A leader leads by example, not by force. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is noise before defeat. The captured soldiers should be kindly treated and kept. One need not destroy one's enemy. One need only destroy his willingness to engage. Every animal with blood in its veins and horns on its head will fight when it is attacked. Never trust a friend who is silent about your flaws.
You know, in Islam, we fight with those who fight with us. We're never the aggressors. But for many of us, we can't see when people are fighting us because they are deploying these techniques and using psychological warfare to distract us. We talk too much. We do too much. We bop around in our ego, just happy to get attention. And so people are manipulating us all day long, all night long, in our businesses, in our organizations, and we can't see it. And this is not to say that you got to jump up and attack them once you realize that they're fighting you. That means that you got to sit back and figure out how they're attacking you, how they're blocking you, and what's causing you to be on that hamster wheel. A lot of times it is some operation that is against you that you just can't see. And this is not to make you paranoid or even a conspiracy theorist. It's to help you understand how common these things are, how these happen to everyday people, and how important it is for us to understand that if we plan to build wealth, we have to learn how to protect it. In war, mind your tongue. My spiritual father told me that loose lips sink ships and that we must keep our circles tight. You may think that your business is just a little small endeavor that no one cares about. Don't sell yourself short. Understand that you can be plucked out of the game before you ever start playing. And oftentimes it is our unawareness that causes us to take ourselves out of the game. That's why our businesses don't go anywhere. That's why they go up and peak and do really well, and then we plateau, because the enemy now is working with us, but we so in our ego because we can't get over the fact that it's not working. We don't want to ask for help. We don't understand that the business strategy of most companies out here is that they have consultants, advisors. They have people that can see what they can't see. Because oftentimes when you're in the trenches, you can't see. You don't have an aerial view. All right. What do I mean? If you think enough of your business to steal away, to invest, and to dedicate your time, how valuable is it to your enemy? Pay attention, strategize, and be mindful. Now, the art of business warfare involves a strategic approach to gain an advantage over competitors, seize market share, and achieve business success. In our community, we have been chronic victims of espionage, where mercenaries are sent into our communities and businesses. They steal our vibe, they steal our money, our culture, our business ideas, and in many cases, they unalive us. Corporate espionage costs the United States companies over $600 billion a year. How much has this cost our communities? How many of our businesses, how many of our organizations, and how many of our ideas have been destroyed and stolen because we are oftentimes too elementary in our strategies when it comes to basic things like security? You got ghost customers, fake patients, weird employees, new members of our organizations that have infiltrated and destroyed many businesses and organizations in our community. And as a conscious entrepreneur, I want us to understand that we are not exempt. Okay? Now, here we delve into the tactics and strategies that can help businesses thrive in the competitive corporate landscape. All right. Business warfare is a term that describes various methods companies use to compete against each other. All right. You know how when you opening up your business and you still got the paper or the newspaper on the window, and you get that random person that walks in that asks you all kind of questions, and you're just so nice and so sweet, and you don't have your communication strategy together, and you tell them how you started the business and who you are and where you're from and what you plan on doing and where you got your money from, and you just run down your whole story because you're just so happy that somebody walked in the door. Who is that person? Let's talk about industrial espionage. Okay. Industrial espionage is gathering information about a competitor's business. It's also known as economic espionage. It is the act of obtaining commercial secrets from a company or an organization for economic or competitive gain. Sometimes there's PR campaigns. Somebody just sent me an article, for example, from the Wall Street Journal that talks about how Black people are gaining or outpacing white people in economic development. And it's all a smoke and mirrors thing. I could recognize the game plan, and I recognize it as part of the strategy moving forward. I mean, listen, if you go from having 2 businesses with a government contract to 20 Black businesses with a government contract, that's a huge growth spurt, percentage wise. But based on the collective and based on the overall population is very small. So we're going to dissect that. I'm going to bring that article. We're going to dissect that as part of this series too. Now, here's how industrial espionage is oftentimes deployed as a tactic. Accessing your computer systems, okay? Gaining access to a company's computer systems, either directly or through networks without permission. Okay. Some of us are so sweet. We let people come in. They say, hey, can I use your computer? We say, sure, no problem. Go ahead. Boom. Not in. We hire people. As soon as they come on board, we give them access to all of our information. Now they got everything. The other thing that's happening oftentimes is that they copy your information without authorization. They will also intrude into your organization. Individuals, companies, or governments can intrude into an organization to collect data. Most times, people use mercenaries, or an employee or a disgruntled employee or member becomes a mercenary for the other side. Like I told you, you got fake customers, you got fake patients, you got fake members, you got fake employees, you got people who come in who fake a resume and they just want to interview with you because they want to see what you got going on. You got people who will fake and pretend like they want to do business with you. They want to invest with you. They want to be a part of something, and they'll ask you for your data. Hey, send me this and send me that. I want to kind of get an idea on how we can work together. Again, be mindful. You even have people who will come to you and say, hey, apply for this grant. And the grant application asks for everything but the kitchen sink. And then you never hear back from them. Was that a way of just gathering your data and your information? So this is all about making you all wake up, because we got to protect our businesses and we got to protect what it is that is important to us, that we have dedicated and given our lives to. All right. Another thing they do is disinformation, spreading false information about a competitor. Many years ago, I'll give you this as a quick example. I was selling music distribution for a major company. They had a program where artists who bought distribution deals could also buy into a program for somewhere in the neighborhood of around $10,000 a month, where they had 2,000 college students who would disseminate information onto the internet about the person or any information that they wanted distributed. It could be a rumor. It could be starting something or saying something negative about your competitor. It could just be spreading information about yourself. It was a whole PR campaign. Now they got AI to do that. Okay. So spreading false information is a huge tactic that they do in wartime. That's why in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about gossip, slack talk, and rumors, and how they can ruin our organizations and how we shouldn't participate in it. But the other side of it is that we also need to know when we recognize it. And in our organization, we put you out. We discommunicate you. You got to go. These rumors, all this gossiping, making up fake stuff about people, you got to go. All right. Leaking confidential information. So sharing a competitor's private information. You may give somebody access to confidential data and then they're going to share it. Beware of these companies that want you to come and sign up for this and be an investor and do this and that. And they ask you for all of your data. And trust me, it goes into somebody's database. You got to be aware of that. And I'm not telling you to go put your head in the sand or to get off the grid. I want you to be aware, because at the end of the day, we have the power here to quantum leap over all of this. But it first starts with awareness, which is what we're trying to do with this five-part series. Okay. They'll damage your information system. So attacking a competitor's computer system. This happens sometimes with small businesses. A lot of times you have employees that come in. Let me tell you something, small business owners. A lot of times we hire people. We want so badly to help people. We bring people really close to us. They have a lot of our data. And at the same time, while we think that they appreciate the support that we're giving them, the whole time they're growing jealous, because as they've gotten closer to you, they didn't have the maturity to understand that as you get closer to anything, you're going to see its flaws and you're going to be able to see the faults. You may be able to see some of the deviations. You may be able to see some problems. But oftentimes that makes that person who's elementary in their thinking, who was a competitor all along, or it may convert them into a competitor. So small business people have issues with an employee base oftentimes, because that small group of employees has access to a lot of information and there's no segregation of duties because you're so small. And a lot of entrepreneurs make a mistake. They may start dating somebody in the company. They may befriend somebody, start inviting people over to their house. And next thing you know, folks know where they live, know their schedule. All right. Know how they move. There's no mystery, because these people can track you. And until you know that these people can be trusted, you have to be mindful about how you move. Then there's cyber attacks. How many of us have been hacked? How many of us have had our sites just taken down? Some competitor, some hater, some jealous person. This is real. We have to strategize against all of this stuff. All of it. What type of cybersecurity are you using? When we were developing the hospital and the medical situations, I had a company that was monitoring that was a cybersecurity service 24 hours a day. So if somebody tried to access that system at 2 a.m., they was on it. All right. So industrial espionage can have significant financial consequences on your individual, on you as an individual, on your companies, on your organization. It can disrupt your economic stability. All right. I want to show you another quick video where we're going to talk about, where it's going to tell you about some famous cases of economic espionage. All right. Because I want you to see how common it is. And I want you to see that it's happening right in front of your face. But oftentimes we don't see it because we don't think that this is happening to us. Do you know that there has been a massive campaign that it has been designed to control us and narrate our story since we were kidnapped and brought here? There's a massive campaign around how the country began. Who was Christopher Columbus? Who was here before him? Was there anybody here? There's tons of campaigns. We don't see it because we're blind. So we go into business and we just so happy to get our cookies and our fried chicken and our, I'm being very stereotypical here. We just happy. We don't realize that we're more powerful than what we think. But again, we can quantum leap over all of this. And it first begins by awareness. So check out this video and I'll be right back afterwards. I want you all to see how common this is. I want you to take a look at these companies, and then we're going to come back and get ready for tomorrow, which is part 2. But today is all about raising awareness. All right? Okay.
We know we see all the men you have to be. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most infamous cases of corporate espionage.
It's something you'll find in the special touches.
Wow, that does sound big.
You serious?
For this list, we're looking at the wildest times that companies have been caught spying on one another. Let us know which one you find the most thrilling in the comments. Number 10, IBM versus Hitachi. Back in the 1980s, there weren't anywhere near as many manufacturers of computers as there are today.
And that makes us proud, because we have more computers helping more small businesses than anybody.
And when computers were large and expensive, that arguably made the competition even more intense. Perhaps that's why Hitachi was willing to pay $648,000 to steal important data from IBM in 1981. The theft, in which several Hitachi executives were implicated, was so big that the FBI joined the investigation, which culminated in a number of arrests. Hitachi wasn't the only Japanese company trying to steal from IBM in the 80s. Mitsubishi was added as well. They probably would have been better off just buying an IBM computer outright and taking it apart.
The solution is IBM. The solution is IBM.
Number 9. Unilever versus Procter & Gamble. Apparently, billion-dollar multinationals go dumpster diving too. At least that's what Procter & Gamble paid outside operatives to do at Unilever's Chicago offices in 2001. These spies were able to find out important information about Unilever's upcoming marketing plans simply by searching through the company's trash cans.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
However, P&G officials later informed Unilever of the espionage themselves, saying that their staff had been running a rogue operation. At least 3 P&G staff members were fired, and Unilever accepted a payout of around $10 million in compensation. Number 8. Avery Dennison versus 4 Pillars. Taiwanese company 4 Pillars Limited was so desperate to learn what made Avery Dennison's adhesives so good that it paid top dollar for the privilege in the 1990s. Unfortunately, this came back to bite them, and both CEO Pin Yang and his daughter Hui Changyang were found guilty of espionage in the U.S. They'd paid $160,000 to an employee of Avery Dennison to steal sensitive information. Pin Yang was sentenced to 2 years probation along with home detention, and his daughter to 1 year probation. Both faced fines of $250,000 each, despite their attorney's bizarre defense. She claimed that they'd been fighting, quote, for everyone's benefit, and implied that they'd been set up by the FBI. Number 7. Starwood versus Hilton. Apparently, being one of the most famous and lucrative hotel chains in the world doesn't stop you from stooping to spying.
So we're not just a hotel. We're a launch pad to new places and your best self.
In 2009, Starwood Hotels and Resorts Worldwide filed a lawsuit against Hilton, accusing them of espionage.
Big ideas fuel innovation, and innovation fuels Starwood.
Hilton poached Starwood executives to help launch a new hotel brand, and one of them allegedly stole thousands of confidential documents on his way out. Starwood claimed that Hilton then used this information to develop their Denizen hotels as a knockoff of Starwood's W brand.
Hilton believes it's time to put on the brakes.
It was an embarrassing debacle for Hilton that saw them cancel the rollout of Denizen hotels and pay Starwood a cool $75 million. Number 6, Microsoft versus Oracle.
Hire me, and I'll tell you.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, especially if you're a PI hired to bribe janitors into letting you rifle through the garbage.
That's cute. I don't buy it, but it's cute.
You're not buying what?
In the year 2000, Oracle Corporation, a major software developer and key rival of Microsoft's, orchestrated just that. It tasked private investigators to get their hands on documents that would demonstrate a link between the Association for Competitive Technology and Microsoft.
Microsoft Windows 2000 was built for total reliability. The business internet starts with Microsoft.
After Oracle was caught, Oracle's chairman, Larry Ellison, insisted that it had been for the public good, accusing Microsoft of trying to monopolize the industry and exert covert influence in an ongoing antitrust trial. The strange scandal was appropriately dubbed Trashgate. Number 5, GM versus Volkswagen.
Hey, Paulie, what's up? No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
When people quit their job, it's normal for them to move on to another position within the same industry. But Jose Ignacio Lopez's jump from General Motors to Volkswagen in 1993 wasn't quite so simple. Lopez was an important figure at GM, responsible for massive cost reductions. However, according to him, GM reneged on an agreement to build a car plant in the Basque region of Spain, where he'd been born. So he jumped ship, bringing other GM employees with him. GM filed multiple lawsuits alleging that Lopez had stolen 70 cartons of important documents. After a protracted legal battle, Volkswagen had to settle the suits out of court to the tune of $100 million. Number 4, HP versus HP. Sometimes you really are your own worst enemy.
It's like looking in a mirror, only not.
In 2006, a high-profile leak led to internal scrutiny of Hewlett-Packard's own directors. But things quickly got murky. HP's chairwoman, Patricia Dunn, hired investigators who used fake identities to obtain phone records from HP employees and journalists. When the truth got out, HP was hit with multiple lawsuits as well as criminal charges. While the only person convicted was one of the private investigators, the company had to pay millions in fines and settlements. Dunn was forced to resign, and HP's reputation was badly tarnished. Number 3, Kodak versus Harold Warden.
Life is filled with moments just waiting to be taken.
After working for Kodak for almost 3 decades, Harold Warden decided to strike out on his own. He established a consulting firm, but then bought confidential data from other former Kodak employees and tried to sell the information to Kodak's rivals.
I wish you hadn't done that.
Rather than purchasing the information from Warden, however, they went to Kodak with the news. Kodak worked with the FBI to set up a sting operation, and Warden walked right into it.
Get him up! Get your hands up! Get your hands against the wall, turn around.
You're not kidding.
In 1997, he was sentenced to 15 months in prison and a fine of $30,000. Number 2, Gillette versus Stephen Lewis Davis. Razor blades are a cutthroat business, which is something that Stephen Lewis Davis found out the hard way when he stole trade secrets in 1997. It was discovered that Davis, who worked as a subcontractor for Gillette, had been emailing confidential razor designs straight to the competition, designs that Gillette had spent a whopping $750 million developing. Apparently, Davis did it out of anger against his manager, working conditions, and career opportunities. Not that this stopped Gillette from getting the FBI involved.
Now, when I started here, I was promised advancement opportunities, and breaking that promise, to me, is unacceptable. You see, I golf also. You should bring me sometime.
The court was ultimately lenient in its punishment. Davis went to prison for just over 2 years, a big reduction from the 50 years he was initially facing.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
I just wanted you to, I'm going to stop it there because I want you all to just see how common this is. And you don't realize it until you get into business and you start dealing with whether it's disgruntled employees or some people are just competitive. Some people just get jealous. Okay. So I hope today helped you to begin to think about how you can do a better job at protecting your business, protecting yourself, and your organization. Okay, this happens in churches, it happens in mosques, it happens in synagogues too, happens in sororities and fraternities. All right, in social organizations as well. We got to make sure we're requiring employees to sign non-compete agreements, and we got to be ready to enforce it. Have you trademarked? Have you copywritten things? Are you clear about who owns intellectual property? All right. Regular audit security is important, including hiring an outside firm to review cybersecurity, making sure that you have physical security, that you have employee policies in place, because people will send a fake employee in to your organization, especially if they hear maybe from a former employee that you got certain issues. See, you're not following the way of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So maybe you got a habit of messing around with your employees in your business. Well, now here's the enemy. They come send in somebody. They hook up with you. Now they got all your business, all your information, and now they're about to go out here and expose you. Keep your nose clean. Keep some things to yourself. Develop a strategy that details what information you will release to the public, what information is confidential. Now, if you're a ghost, that can be a problem. But if you're an open book, that can be a problem too. You have to develop a strategic communication plan. That plan should have levels and layers to it. I can help you do that as a consultant. There's information for the public. There's internal communications that should not be shared. There's executive level only communications, etc. There's a strategy to communications. You just don't walk out and just blurt out stuff. When you see people do a press release after something happened, that's part of a communication strategy. Okay. So Sun Tzu said that in war, the way to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. And when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. I want you to ponder and deliberate this before you make a move. Even when you introduce your products, your services, all of that's got to be strategy, y'all. When I walk into your business, it should be strategic how everything is set up. The color choice should be strategic. If I go to your website, it should be strategically delivered to me. Don't ever think that you and your business are exempt. Stay woke and stay alert. In your business, follow the way of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Go back and look at the series we did on the accomplishments of the Muslims, and you can begin to study how he moved. Remember, knowledge is power. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you feel like it was superior or inferior is not even necessarily relevant. What's important is the knowledge, and history is best at rewarding its student. All right. So tomorrow, tune in 6 a.m. We're going to be talking about the terrain. You don't want to miss that. Today was designed to get you alert, to wake you up. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you are getting anything out of this, Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, I'm giving you strategy for free. I spent years charging people for this information, and I still charge to a certain degree. And if you say, look, I got a business, I'm ready to go, I need to have a conversation with somebody, book a consulting session with me. Let me put this up on the board before we go. Book SajdahWendyMuhammad.com. I had it up here earlier. Where is it? There it is. if you decide that you do want to move forward and you want me to come in and help you to figure out what's going on. A lot of y'all don't know what's going on. You think your product just got old. You think that people just don't like you anymore. You think business is just so hard. It's just so difficult. It really isn't. It's just that you did not, you can't recognize what's happening to you. You don't recognize what's happening under your nose, and you don't understand what's happening to you in the broader community. And let me tell you something, you can quantum leap over that. There are certain behavioral techniques. Many of them are those that were given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that can help you quantum leap over that stuff. All right, so we will see you all tomorrow, 6 a.m. Central Time. Don't go anywhere. Check out this new commercial about our virtual gift shop. All right, see you soon. And don't forget to like and subscribe.